What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, in the last 2 weeks, as Marvel Studios has kicked back up production on movies like Shang-Chi, Disney Plus series like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki, and even new productions like Spider-Man 3, we've had a ton of casting news and updates coming out, and that's the sort of news you'd expect after a delay like this. Just last week, we broke the exclusive that Alison Brie was indeed tied to the role of She-Hulk, and yesterday we got a ton of news. Marvel Studios eyeing an unlikely Suicide Squad star to take over as a villain in Spider-Man 3, and brand new news of Shia LeBeouf taking over the role of an X-Men, tying to what we also reported here at the channel from industry insider Mikey Sutton about how Marvel Studios will start to introduce certain X-Men in the most conspicuous of spots leading up to their introduction in the MCU. We're going to break down these brand new casting reports for both the Spider-Man 3 villain and Iceman in the X-Men, as well as a couple of ancillary casting calls for the Miss Marvel Disney Plus series. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray bill, as well as our 3rd Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So I'm sure some of you may have seen the headlines breaking basically in every place that covers this sort of news yesterday that Shia LeBeouf is reportedly Marvel's next Iceman, or Shia LeBeouf wanted as Iceman in the X-Men reboot for the MCU. Literally every place that covers this sort of news and places that don't, we're re-reporting this from the originating source, which happened to be the sources over at We've Got This Covered. Now, while they have a sort of a dubious reputation among a lot of people who follow Hollywood trades, they have been right in the past and they always cite all their sources. This apparently coming from the same source that told them there would be a She-Hulk show on Disney Plus, which we now know, of course, to be true. Now, without being able to vet their sources or know their exhaustive track record and keeping a skeptical mind, this falls right in line with what we've most recently reported on here at the channel, that Beast would make his debut during the unannounced Agents of S.W.O.R.D. television show. And again, this was an industry insider exclusive from friend of the channel, Mikey Sutton. If they're going to start to introduce certain members of the X-Men, we know that Storm could be coming sometime soon, and of course Wolverine as well. There's no reason they wouldn't want to bring Iceman in, and with as crazy as some of these shows are going to get, namely Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the upcoming WandaVision, or maybe even something like Miss Marvel, there are a ton of, again, conspicuous spots they can start to introduce these X-Men characters. And of course, if you're going to weave them in to any of the upcoming narratives and or scripts that have now gone to pre-production, this is the time to start thinking about castings. Now, if the name Shia LeBeouf sounds familiar as being tied to a Marvel role, that's because we reported here at the channel, and what was heavily rumored, they were looking at him for the role of Moon Knight on Disney Plus, and this article went on to address that, confirming that at least at one point that was the case, but Marvel was no longer considering him for that role and had moved on to tying him to Iceman. Now, in the world of Spider-Man 3, and coming from industry insider Charles Murphy yesterday, that they were looking for a Joel Kinnamon type to cast for the upcoming film for the villain role, and he went on to speculate that Joel Kinnamon would be perfect for the heavily rumored villain in Kraven. Now, taking a step back from this, to us that's highly unlikely, and if there were any villain that he'd most likely play in this upcoming Spider-Man 3, we see Joel Kinnamon more as the chameleon type, which of course would make him related to not only the Sinister Six, but Kraven as well. Either way, if there's a chance they're looking at Joel Kinnamon types, there may be a chance they're looking at Joel Kinnamon. As you'll remember, tied to the She-Hulk casting, they released a casting call for an Alison Brie type for the She-Hulk, which led to her reaching out and saying, by the way, I'm Alison Brie and I'm available. Could be the same case here with Joel Kinnamon, and I've made the argument in the past, I really don't want to see the same actors in the DCEU and the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the same way that I don't want to see the same actors in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in Star Wars. It's going to bother me a lot if I see any of the Avengers as Jedi or vice versa. There's more than enough actors for all of these roles. Let's try at least to keep them separate to help us suspend just a little disbelief. Now, these weren't the only early casting calls to sort of leak out yesterday, as again, the production wheels have started to turn at Marvel Studios, and for some of those productions, which should have already started filming, like Spider-Man 3 and or Miss Marvel, you can imagine that they're in a frenzy now trying to get the cast filled out. As reported by the Illuminati this morning, according to their sources, quote, the production team at Marvel Studios is currently casting for 2 different roles in the Miss Marvel miniseries on Disney+. They are both set in the 4 of the 6 episodes of the miniseries, 1 male and 1 female. They go on to explain these casting calls as a male with the codename Omar, listed as Pakistani American in his mid to late 20s, a practicing Muslim and self-proclaimed wiser older brother. He's also listed as modern and spirited. And for the female, they go on to report that the codename is Willow, listed as a 16 to 20-year-old American teenager of Turkish, Moroccan, or Arab descent, active in student organizations with the love of being in charge. She's described as Muslim, woke, popular, stylish, and smart. And they go on to speculate that obviously these are going to be members of her family. There's also some speculation, as you can understand, if they're already casting Miss Marvel's family, there's probably a good chance that they've already cast Miss Marvel. Now, when we'll hear of any of these casting announcements, only one can speculate. If we get that Disney Investors Day by the end of the year, I'm guessing that they're going to focus on those productions which are left to come this year: Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and of course Black Widow, when we're going to actually get the release dates and when we might get the trailers and first looks. I doubt that over some sort of investors call, without the sort of hoopla and fanfare of a San Diego Comic-Con or a major D23, they're going to have any major casting announcements. They're going to save that to pack a punch when and if they finally can, when everything sort of gets back to normal. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. How do you like Shia for ICEMAN or a member of the X-Men? How do you feel about Joel Kinnamon possibly playing a villain? If you're not familiar with his work, I highly suggest the first season of Altered Carbon. Of course, that ties directly to Anthony Mackie, who did the second season, but that first season is absolute gold, a little bit better than his work in the first Suicide Squad. Either way, let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 700,000 subscriber mark. Of course, we'll switch over to the PlayStation 5 once they're released, but we're still a long way off those actually shipping and having them in hand. In the meantime, PlayStation 4 Pros continue. Very soon, we will hit 700,000 subscribers. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like this insane 1/4 scale XM Studios Beta Ray Bill. This is a museum quality 30-inch tall representation of the character, held by XM Studios and shipped internationally, as well as our 3rd Infinity Saga limited edition box set. We gave away 2 already this year at the channel. We'll be giving this 3rd one away during the holiday season at the end of the year. If you want to be entered to win the Beta Ray Bill, either of the PlayStations or this limited edition Infinity Saga box set, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be chosen randomly and announced at the end of the video, the same way we're doing here. And if you've missed any of the previous winner announcements, no worries. All you have to do is scroll back through the channel, look for the winner announcement and the sub count in the title, click on that video, and scroll to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.